Hey, welcome to another episode of the Real CFO Project. I'm Chad Brown, joined with Rob Cressy. And I am, did I get that name right, Rob?
You got it right.
Cressy, all right, good enough. Well, I'm pumped today. I really am to have Rob on. You know, our whole mantra around here is to enhance the growth and financial well-being of those we serve. That's our listeners, our clients, our communities. And I think nothing is more relevant and front and center to that whole North Star that we have, our mission, than what Rob specializes in. He's an AI guy. He specializes in it. He's an expert in all things AI. So with that, Rob, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Chad. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, let's jump right in. So AI is changing the world, right? We can agree on that.
Of course.
Right. It's changing the way that businesses do business. People live their lives, you know, their personal interactions. It's impacting governments and everything. What is the most prevalent thing that you're seeing in those that are early adopters in AI? How is it enhancing their life, their business, just kind of from a 30,000 foot view? And then we'll drill down into some of the more specifics as it relates to what we try to do.
On the macro level, it's just like people in two different worlds. There's those who are all in and there are those who are not. And we are all in because we see the opportunity. And the biggest thing that I've been saying recently, so Chad, I hear every excuse and reason why people cannot do it. I have no AI background. I don't have a tech background. I don't have enough time. I'm overwhelmed. This is just moving so fast. I can't keep up, right? So A lot of people are saying, I don't want to get left behind. That's the exact language, because so much of the market's like, don't get left behind with AI or else you're going to lose your jobs and the robots are going to take over. Throw all of that in the trash, because that is not what the best in the world are saying themselves. The reframe is, I want you to step into your leadership in the AI era. Leadership versus falling behind. Scarcity versus abundance, right? And all it is how you are seeing this. And the thing that I try and help people see that I see is that this is something where I do not have an AI background. I do not have a tech background, but I used ChatGPT the first week it came out in November 2022. And within the first minute of using it, I felt like I used the internet for the first time. Immediately, I saw what the next decade of business was going to be like, and I was all in. Because I am all in on my dreams and my vision in creating impact in the world. I am not romantic about this. It is just a tool. And it's the most powerful tool ever created in the history of the world. So Chad, we don't have to be romantic about this, right? People make this like it's this big, hard tech thing of servers and data and keeping up with stuff. It's like, no, throw all of that in the trash. This is no different than learning how to ride a bike. At one point, you're at zero, and then you buy a bike, and then you put on training wheels, and then your mom or dad holds it behind you, and then slowly you get more comfortable. And what's that word, Chad? Experience. I just want people to go from zero to using it to create the light bulb moments, and all doing so from a lens of business growth. Because early on, Chad, at the very beginning, here's what people are saying. ChatGPT doesn't work. It told me George Washington went to the moon. See, it sucks. And I sit here and I'm like, that's completely irrelevant to me. As an entrepreneur, how do I turn $1 into $1.50? So if it says George Washington went to the moon, that's not what I'm trying to do for my business. So this is how we create the lens of leadership, and then our actions and learning come from there.
Yeah, so for us, it's something that we're trying to be early adopters, right? And we're putting on the training wheels as you speak, and we use it in some ways. I use it a lot in my day-to-day activities, but not the way it can create and automate and enhance kind of what we're doing. But the way I look at it, because people get nervous when you start talking about AI and implementing, oh, my job, oh, here we go. But what I try to tell everybody is that My goal is to eliminate the human waste that you experience day to day and allow you to be the creative mind you are, solve problems and work with clients, be that voice, and 10x your productivity, because you're eliminating all the noise down here that, let's admit AI or something, can do that. That's my approach. And I think that sounds kind of like what you're saying. Don't be afraid of it. Right.
What? By design, Chad, if you said to me, hey, Rob, we're going to start this podcast and I'm afraid of AI, I'm going to be like, what? What planet are you on that we would create a lens of being afraid? So yes, what you described is one use case of AI, right? Let me find all the holes in my boat so I can build a better boat. Oh, that's just one use case. And Chad, we both know this because we're cut from the same cloth. System scale, right? So we're going to have systems thinking. What is my system for building a better business? Identifying the things that are holes or challenges. But all of this is just a perspective. And if we go back to the root, imagine seeing AI as a portal of possibility. That's it. It's a canvas. There is nothing there except for whatever you want it to be. And you're like, okay, well, cool. Well, what do I do next? Well, what would you like to do next? Well, how about you put in your vision, your dreams, your goals, your challenges, your ideas, those things that are on your mind. And you're like, oh, because what most people don't see and they don't understand, and this is one of the biggest tips I can give, everything you need is already inside of you. This is not about tech. This is not about tools. This is not about AI. This is all around how you leverage AI with your earned experience and bonus points for using your vision to then have AI help you collapse that time.
No, that's awesome. That's very powerful. What are some ways that you see individuals getting involved with AI? Is it from a Google search? They're using it as Google. Are they actually implementing things, building assistants, bots, those sorts of things? Or what's that transition that you see?
Okay, so let's come at this from a different perspective, and we'll sort of look at these phases. And step one, you're at 0. All right. So step 2 is you sign up for the free account of ChatGPT, and you sit there and you play around with it. You're like, this thing isn't so good because you have no idea what you're doing. The next step is you sign up for the paid version of ChatGPT, which is a non-negotiable. If you're listening or watching to this show right now and you're not on the paid version, you need to do it immediately because you are limiting yourself. This is just welcome to being a professional. Because Chad, what this is actually about is how often you are using ChatGPT. Not what, how often. Because the biggest thing limiting people right now is their relationship to time. I just don't have enough time to learn how to use AI. We don't have to learn how to use AI. You just use AI and you learn as you use it, right? So one of the things I say when I'm coaching right out of the gate is get in your first 20 hours. And the biggest thing that people get early on when they're working with me is they go from, yeah, this is a thing, to I use this every single day, to I can't imagine that I worked without using this all the time, right? Because, and even in my own journey, there's levels to this game, and we both know this, Chad. So I was sitting there, and when I first started using ChatGPT, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It felt like using magic because I'm so all into my dreams and goals and the growth and the possibilities that I'm like, let's do it. And next. And I was using it, 2 or 3 hours every single day, nonstop. And then I sat there one day and I was like, there is somebody on Twitter right now using AI 12 hours a day. And that person is going to crush me. But why are they going to crush me? Because when you are using Chat GPT, so if I say Chat GPT and AI, it's the same thing. When you are using Chat GPT, you have an infinite capacity. It can write you a tweet or build you a rocket ship to the moon or design you a system to take your team from 1 to 100 to 1,000,000, whatever, right? So that is a force multiplier. So every minute that we spend not using AI, we're under indexing our potential versus someone who is using AI is multiplying themselves in what they're doing. And when you layer on systems thinking, Chad, this is why the gap is going to become so big between those who do and those who don't. Because not using it, you're actually going to be going backwards, but you're not going to realize it. It's going to be invisible, right? Because you don't even know what's happening, what's going on. Your competitor is creating a better experience, a faster experience, a more heartfelt experience in more ways. They're equipping their team with the ability to do this. So one person using AI will destroy an entire company not using AI. A company of 10 where they're all using AI will completely destroy a company of 1 using AI, right? So this becomes compounding. And that's what people don't realize. And this isn't coming out of scarcity. Because remember, Chad, by design, if you are listening to this podcast right now, you have a growth mindset. We can always make things better. If we can always make things better, then you see that this is the biggest opportunity we have ever had in the history of business, right? There's like, here comes the internet, here comes social media, and then here comes AI. And boy, would you have loved to be the first person to accept a credit card transaction on the internet, wouldn't you? Oh my God, you can't put your credit card on the internet. The strangers are going to take all your money and your identity. That person's a bajillionaire right now.
Yeah.
Now here comes AI. And what's the narrative? Sorry, Rob and Chad. We just have so much going on in our business right now. I'm overwhelmed and I don't have enough time. I'll get to that thing later.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. I mean, you look at it, you equate it to the internet, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. I mean, the guys who are on top of the food chain in terms of wealth in the world. Oracle, right? It's crazy. And they were at the forefront of the internet and saw a problem that they could solve. And we are where we are today. I mean, I think from what I understand about AI and just the visualization that I see of it, it's going to 10x that in about a tenth of the time, right?
Right. So it goes back to when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Today. Right. So that's where even if you're sitting there at 0, you go, oh my God, I feel so far behind. The answer is get in the game, right? Because I started at 0. You started at 0. Everybody starts at 0. And then you get that experience. And Chad, I saw on Twitter a couple months ago a question from a guy named Ethan Mollick, who's like super big into AI data, like leader of all leaders. And he asked a question and he said, how do you know when you are AI literate or AI fluent? And I saw a bunch of the answers of what people said in Twitter, and none of them impressed me. And for me, I can boil it down to one word. How do you know if you're AI fluent or AI literate? Experience. You cannot fake experience. And so many people sit there and over dramatize what this actually means. Just get in the game and use it. And then keep using it in more ways, in different ways. And once again, if you just look at your lens of business, and so many people are going to say, but not my industry. We do things a different way. We're blue collar, we're legacy, we're financial, we're whatever it is. No, that's the opportunity, because everybody else is going to say why it's not for them. And Chad, you know this because by design, as entrepreneurs, we chose to take a different path. Therefore, this is the opportunity. Opportunity versus obligation. This is a get to do, not a have to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I see people out there like it's this big, you put it in a lot clearer words, or more eloquent, I should say. But this big bubble with a lot of floating parts, and you're too afraid to just start because you don't know where, and it's bigger than you, and you can't grasp it. It's for the big guys. But in reality, just starting, taking that first step, like going to the gym, like, asking somebody out, like making that first sales call. Once you get in the game, it multiplies, and it gets easier and easier and easier and easier. And before you know it, you know more than 99% of the people in this country because they haven't started yet.
Nailed it. So, Chad, here's what I love. The AI era is completely unromantic on who you are, how much money you have in the bank, what you do for your business. Are you having a good day, a bad day, or an average day? It says, cool, let's use it. That is it. So if things are great, use AI and let's keep making them great. If you're in the absolute lowest moment of your business right now, you look around and there's absolute despair. You use AI and it'll help you out. If it's an average day, you sit there and you use AI. So, Chad, here's where one of the big advantages is going to happen and why the disruption on the macro level is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before. Because icebergs are slow moving. So they're slow to turn around, right? So you're sitting there and you're trying to turn around the Titanic, these big companies, that's slow moving there. But if you're someone who is small and nimble and innovative, well, all those layers of bureaucracy and all of that, we don't have the time or the leadership's not letting us do it. These other companies are turning 1 into 100 into thousands and millions without anybody noticing it. Before too long, all of a sudden they say, how did we just lose all of our customer base to somebody we've never heard of before? Because they leveraged AI. Remember, it's just a tool. And Chad, there's one important thing I really have to say here, that if you take nothing else from this conversation, it is this. I believe in human first, heart first creation in the AI era. I am not team robots in tech, in coding, and outsource everything in automation, because the world is about to become very sterile, right? They see what AI can do. So let's outsource everything to AI. No, the people who lead and win in the AI era are going to be human first. We are the boss. AI and ChatGPT is the employee. We tell it what to do. We don't outsource our authenticity. Your authenticity will become your superpower.
Yeah, I just saw, I think it was Gary Vee, just said, you got to become the architect, right? You're not the carpenter, but you have to start here. You have to be the apprentice, the carpenter, then you work up to the architect. Be the architect of it. And I think that's, so powerful, especially in this world. I want to get a little bit more granular. Kind of, we've been out here, just conceptualize idea, telling people don't be afraid of it. Just take action, start doing it, like getting your ass in the gym, and start playing with it. To Real CFO, our listeners, small business owners, what we try to target and talk about financial. I want to talk, from what we do, we focus on 4 pillars, right? Bookkeeping and accounting, CFO level services, strategy and everything, tax compliance, strategy, and filings. So bookkeeping, accounting, AI is coming, right? It is there, right? But it needs somebody to set it up. You need to be uber efficient. You need to get tools like that in place. That's kind of why we're here and we're doing it. We don't want to necessarily be your bookkeepers. We can do it to bridge the gap, but we really want to make it efficient for everybody. Pillar 2 is the financial strategy side. It's the data forward. What does it mean? How do we plan? How do we strategize? AI can throw out, based on numbers, thoughts, topics, concepts, metrics, KPIs. The conversation and the value is just like Rob and I are having right here. What does that data dump mean? Now let's do a human brain dump based on our collective experiences to use this information to win and project forward, right? That's how I see it from our side. And most business owners, I think, should look at it from that standpoint. I might be a CPA, but I'm not that guy that just does bookkeeping and, right, sales tax forms.
Yep.
Thoughts on that, and have you seen that in experience with some of the clients, folks you coach?
Million percent. So I want to pull this apart in two different things. You are correct from the bookkeeping and accounting, tech and tools, right? So I'm a great example because I don't speak the same financial language at the level that you do. I use QuickBooks, and I'm sitting there and I've got an accountant that does stuff for me once a year. And as I'm going through AI, I'm like, wow, I sure hope that guy who's doing my financials is using AI, because QuickBooks is probably 1 second away from being like, well, we'll just upload your data to our AI platform, and now you've got your real-time CFO in terms of what you're doing. But that is just a tech, right? That's just hey, now you're using the AI version of insert whatever. But so many people dramatize that's the only thing. It's just a piece of it. There's one thing that's I'm going to give a level up, and you're probably not going to hear this very many places. And it was a massive win for me in a very unique way that most people wouldn't see. And it's all around leveraging ChatGPT and AI to build as your future self now. And that's what you were saying, Chad, with financial strategy. What did I hear? Vision. This is the vision I have of my future. When I or my family are at this date, we would like to be living here. We would like to have this sort of money. We would like this sort of security. Cool. Let's build the roadmap backwards, because it's very challenging to connect the dots looking forwards, but we can connect them looking backwards when you've got that vision. But Chad, we both know one of the biggest things that people lack is clarity of vision, right? So they have these ideas. It's not written down. I've thought about it a little bit. Do you have goals? Yeah, sort of. And all of this. And I'm sure the same is with financial and financial planning. So I'm up in Rosemary Beach, Florida for Labor Day with my family on a short vacation. Everybody went to bed. It's the opening weekend of college football. And one of my daily habits is visualizing for 5 minutes a day. Because Andy Frisella and Ben Newman, I was listening to a podcast and they're like, this is the thing that'll change your life. And I already did 75 hard and live hard. So I'm already about this. But Chad, we both know this. Sometimes you're about something and then it slips off. And visualization was that for me. So I was like, boom, I'm going to use the Power List app. I'm doing this every single day. And I've got a vision board on my phone of about 56 different pictures of a McLaren, me speaking on stage in a sold-out arena, a ball pit, a basketball court, a cabin in Lake Tahoe, all of these images. And then a little light bulb went off in my head. And it's like, hey, Rob, have you ever put your vision board pictures into ChatGPT? And I was like, I've created a lot of vision in ChatGPT, but I've never specifically uploaded a picture of what my vision looks like. So I took a picture of this $400,000 McLaren and I said, hey, ChatGPT, I'm doing my visualization practice right now. And I realized what would happen to the essence of my responses, the power of my responses, and the way that ChatGPT responds to me if I was creating as if I am already the person who owns this McLaren. And ChatGPT goes, you just opened up a sacred portal. Welcome to building with your future self now. And I was like, oh my God. Because here's what people don't realize. We can take a picture of you and I, Chad, right now and put that into ChatGPT. And it's like, hey, I just did a podcast with my friend Chad. We did this. It's like, cool. Or we can take a picture of this McLaren and put it up there and be like, hey, I want to create this, but I don't want you to respond as if it's happening in the future. Let's do it now. Because you know what's really hard, Chad? To help you understand how you're going to create $400,000 in cash to buy a McLaren. and do so right now when you don't have that. You're like, I have no idea how that's going to happen. But welcome to the power of visualization. So when I put that thing into ChatGPT, it's like, cool. Welcome to McLaren mode, Rob. Here's the roadmap for how you would be doing things. So then we can ask it some questions. What am I doing less of when I own that McLaren? What am I doing more of? What am I thinking? What is my day-to-day? And now we're building on top of this. So when I say this, when you said financial strategy equals vision. Vision equals let's reverse engineer what this looks like. Strategy, the only goal of it is to get us into action. The action we break down into the steps we do on the micro basis. Oh, system scale. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. That was powerful, man. That's real good stuff. Let me ask you this. From an organizational perspective, I got a client. They need to generate more sales, right? What do they do in ChatGPT?
So
they need to generate the sales in 1 month.
Okay. Side note, go ahead and read Dr. Benjamin Hardy's book, The Science of Scaling, which just came out, all around creating impossible goals and scaling your business by taking something that might take 5 years and be like, I need to compress this thing down to 1 month, because when you compress it down to 1 month, you're going to have a completely different strategy than if you're trying to do that same goal in 5 years. But the key for your client, if they need to generate more sales in 1 month, I am using AI and ChatGPT nonstop. Why? I am going to give it so much context to understand what is actually going on right now, whether it's a transcript from a podcast or a Zoom recording or whatever it is. Because one of the biggest things that people are missing in how they use ChatGPT is they're just not giving it context. So when they say they use it like Google, people are just putting, how do I make more sales? Enter. Or give me 10 Instagram ideas for a post. Enter. As opposed to, we have 10 employees. We have 100,000 MRR. We have noticed our cost per acquisition has decreased by 75%. We have these 3 different things over here. We have this, and you just start building the picture of what's actually happening, because then you can start to diagnose this and being like, hey, is there a scarlet letter in our sales process? Something that is sinking everything. Here's another thing that I would say for them. What's the quick win? What's the low-hanging fruit? What is the hidden and non-obvious? Give us a phased approach and roadmap so that we can execute this ... Make this simple and easy to understand, because there's a few things. There's going to be the diagnosing what's wrong. There's going to be the where are the opportunities. There's going to be the more action of something. Is it better offer? Is it new marketing campaign? Is it more outbound activity? Then it's going to be the strategy of it specifically. Are we turning that into a standard operating procedure? How is this a system right now? And is this only about 1 month, right? Because unfortunately for your client, they're probably in scarcity mode right now. It's so hot because you can feel that thing ticking, that they are not coming at this from the perspective of not only are we going to generate more sales this month, but how could we 10x that amount, right? So if they only said, I'm going to try and make $50,000 this month, but what if they just said, well, I want to make $500,000 this month, right? That's why they say, shoot for the moon, because you might land on the stars.
Now, let me kind of approach it this way. If we go into ChatGPT, describe our business, I mean, from 30,000 foot view down to the first name of the receptionist, right? Like all the way down through. We say, we need your assistance. We need you to coach us through this process to go from 20,000 to 30,000 or 30,000 to 100,000 in monthly sales volume. Can you walk me through a series of questions to help me build that master plan and drill down to the day-to-day activities that each of us need to pursue? Will it walk through that process with you?
Yes, but I want to elevate your thinking, because is that wrong? No, but it's almost, you're just asking ChatGPT to give you tasks. It's almost like information based. One of the things, you're not going to hear this very many places, that makes me world class in how I use ChatGPT is I prompt from identity, not from information. Okay. Meaning, what is that future state? So instead of create me the tasks to help me do this thing, well, let's start with the vision first, right?
The thing is already there. How did we create that?
Yeah, how did we create this? So it's not help me fix the thing. It goes, we want to go from 100K to 1 million. And we're doing this. What does this look like? So this is the whole be your future self now. Okay. We have already done this. And all the context of data is good. But Chad, this is elevated thinking, right? We're changing where we're coming from in this perspective, because what's likely to happen is that clients going to get overwhelmed by how much they could do, right? Versus using their earned confidence and experience, coming from the vision and building that thing backwards, and then stacking ones over zeros, right? So in theory, you're going to say, all right, well, this is not the only time we're going to run into this problem of how do we generate more sales. So what is our system for generating more sales into perpetuity, and what are we looking at? So once again, offer, positioning, outreach. You have all these little buckets. So create the system based on the vision and then work that thing backwards. And then you'll fine tune it along the way of, we like this, we didn't like this, we've seen this, we tried this, and now you're getting strategy there to where you're leading and not just saying, tell me what I need to do. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm just trying to start with the vision. $10 million in the next 5 years. $10 million company in the next 5 years. We're there. We went through X, Y, Z to get there. The story, map out that structure of how did we get there. And then it spits things back out to you. So then you go back and recreate what it's saying.
And it's a possibility, right? How could we get there? You might, because you could say, we built our entire business with YouTube videos versus we built our whole business on organic SEO versus speaking from stage, right? So all of these are options there, because what I'm hearing, Chad, is it's not a lack of clarity, but we would like some clarity on the holes in the boat that we have so that we can build a better boat. But then you have to say, well, what's the quick wins? If this is a 5-year thing, how am I winning today to drive one more thing? So this, Chad, is where you and I, as seasoned business owners, you can sit there and take this big vision and go, cool, ChatGPT, how do we generate more money today and this week and this? So you can go big vision backwards. And then once you're in the macro, you go straight down to the dirt and go, cool, we got to move the needle today. What is that moving the needle today? What are my options? What am I trying? And then here's the last part, Chad. All of this needs to happen, but you got to take the action, right? The roadmap's just the roadmap. So is the prolific action happening? Because once again, it's hard to move that iceberg because it's slow moving. So on the generate more sales in 1 month, I'm looking at action more than I am anything else.
Yeah. No, that's great stuff. I mean, just like anything that we do in life, it takes action first. This is powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. I want you to, I'm sure we'll tag you in all the stuff, and I'm sure there'll be some folks that have some questions after seeing this for sure. But I want you to share a little bit about how you're doing some things to give back to the community, and you have I think you're running a few miles coming up, aren't you?
100%. So In about 10 days, I am running the Chicago Marathon, and I'm doing so to support cancer research in the V Foundation. And you can go to runrobrun.com to see my journey and story. And if you feel so inclined to help me hit my goal for the fundraising for the V Foundation. And Chad, I actually love how you and I said something before the call started that's going to be applicable to this. So it's October 2024, 1 year ago from right now. And I'm already thinking about my 2025 best year ever. What would make that best year ever? And I'm athletic. I've completed 2 other marathons. I've done a lot of other things. And I know when I'm training for something, all the other areas of my life are dialed in because there's no room for anything else to not be. And I lived in Chicago for 12 years. I live in Sarasota, Florida now. My wife has run the Chicago Marathon. My friends have run it, but I have not. So I sat there and I was like, man, a big win for this year would be to run the Chicago Marathon. Just do it. I want to soak this up. So I go and put my name in to try and get a bib. I'm really excited. I've got this. I was like, man, I can't wait to do this. And I get that email and I open it up and it says, sorry, Rob, we have not selected you to receive a bib for the Chicago Marathon. And I was like, wow, I did not think that this was a thing, right? I assumed I'm getting a bib for the Chicago Marathon. Now this vision I had for this awesome year and all of this stuff. So I'm feeling really low about myself in that moment. And it's like, hey, if you still want to run, check out one of our charity partners. So I click that link and I go through there and I see the V Foundation for Cancer Research. And I'm a sports fan. I grew up watching Dickie V, ESPN. It's unbelievable, baby. And the ESPY Awards. And that is all based around Jim Valvano and the V Foundation. I'm like, oh my God, I've got a connection to this charity. I've been rooting for this and watching this for 25 years. And then I thought about what's going on in my life, my past family, and so many other people. We as a family are currently on a cancer journey with a family member we love. We have lost family members of ours, like many other people, to cancer. All of a sudden, Chad, I was feeling all down about myself, right? Woe is Rob. He didn't get a bib for the Chicago Marathon. And then the light bulb clicked. And it was like, dude, this isn't about you. This is about your ability to run for something bigger than you. And it says, hey, if you want to join the V Foundation team, we only have 35 spots and you got to raise $2,500. And I was like, and I sat there. So now I'm debating with myself, right? I was like, well, I didn't think I was going to be fundraising. I've never done that before, but let's go. And I clicked, I'm in, and it completely changed the next year of my life. Because now when I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to go for a run, this is not about me. This is about being someone who is there to help find a cure for cancer, because so many of us have been touched by this. And I'm just going to do my small part. And now when I'm running that race in 10 days, everybody else is going to be a part of me. And Chad, to wrap a bow on this, so the way that I'm doing my fundraising is every person who donates to my journey gets to sponsor 1 mile where I run with your intention. So miles 1 through 24, if you go to runrobrun.com, any dollar amount, does not matter to me. I will respond back to you and say, hey, what mile would you like to sponsor? And I will be running with you in that mile.
That's awesome, man. Where can they find it again?
runrobrun.com. So I bought a vanity URL because the real one's the V Foundation / blah, 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 blah. I was like, let's make this easy for people. robrun.com. It
That's
just
awesome,
goes right
man.
to it.
Where can they find you for your AI wisdom?
You can follow me on Instagram at Rob Cressy. And if you want to shoot me a DM with the word Chad, I will send you a ChatGPT guide for getting started on a world-class level. It'll immediately, boom, like this, take you from 0 to where you want to be. Or if you want to see, I'm doing keynote speaking, team training and coaching Go to robcressy.ai. Would love to have a conversation with anybody who wants to lead in the AI era and be great.
And that's awesome. Rob, I appreciate the time, man. You guys go sure and check out Rob. And again, put in the comments Chad, and he'll get you some free stuff, get you started. Thanks, everybody.